The Mimic. When I was 5 years old, I had a strange dream. It was a sunny summer day and I was on a fishing trip with my dad. Very typical dream for a 5-year-old boy who loved fishing and quite often did it, always with my dad. But this time the dream got a really weird turn. I watched my dad, he was admiring the nature, rowing our boat slowly on a calm green lake. He had those mirrored sport sunglasses that almost every dad has and was wearing his black cap that was so sunburnt it almost looked orange. That's how clearly I remember that dream. Dream that quickly turned into the creepiest and weirdest nightmare I had seen so far. Dad suddenly dropped the oars and they sank into the water. He put his hands on his knees, straightened up, smiled broadly and began to stare at me. It wasn't normal happy smile. Despite his sunglasses, I could tell that his eyes were not smiling. He looked like he was forced to smile. I immediately started asking what's going on, but he didn't say anything. Rest of the dream is blurry and I don't remember how it ended. I think it was just him staring at me with a big smile and me crying for what felt like hours. My next memory is waking up crying, my mom already next to my bed. She assured me that it was just a nightmare and I calmed down. But I stayed awake for the rest of the night, watching something from TV. Yeah, it was a dream, but it was also something else. It was my first meeting with a mimic. Fast forward a couple of years. I had almost forgotten the nightmare. I was probably 9 or 10 years old and spending time jumping on a trampoline in our backyard. It was on a summer break and I woke up early that day. I was alone, jumping and doing tricks until I noticed something in the corner of my eye. It was our neighbor, old retired policeman who just came to say good morning. He praised how early I was awake and told me how the apple harvest would be plentiful this year. I answered shortly to his thoughts and kept jumping. At some point, when I thought he had already left minutes ago, I started to leave the trampoline to get inside and chug some water. I spotted him standing right behind the trampoline safety net, his face being only couple of inches away from mine. He was staring straight at me with wide open red eyes and had a big, forced smile. His eyes weren't smiling and they looked like he hadn't blinked for minutes. I was shocked, I couldn't even move for a moment. I told my mom what happened and she was nearly as shocked as I was. She suggested that we could go to knock on his door and ask about it. I was too anxious to go with her and she went alone. She came back soon and told me that the neighbor was puzzled about my mom's words. He claimed he only visited our backyard quickly and denied staring at me. I kept my eye on him for the next weeks, but soon everything returned to normal and I forgot that incident. Fast forward again, now to my teenage years. I was about 14 years old and left school on normal Friday afternoon. I had a habit of cycling to my grandparents' house after school because they lived close to my school and I liked to go and chat with them while doing my homework and having a big cup of strong coffee. I walked in because the door was never locked and I was always welcome there. I dropped my backpack to floor and walked in straight to the kitchen table. I saw my grandmother on the left side of me, washing dishes. I could only see her back because she stood head towards the kitchen sink. I slammed my school books to the table and started chatting with my grandma. I complained to her about math being too hard to learn and something about our biology teacher. I was focusing on my math homework until I realized something. Grandma hadn't responded to anything I told her. She didn't even say hello when I came and I didn't even hear the sounds of her washing dishes. The house was totally quiet. I completely froze. I already knew what it was. I've been there before. I was too scared to move an inch, so I tried to see her reflection from the flower vase on the table, and then I saw it. She was standing in the same place than before, but now facing me. Wide open eyes and a forced smile that was even bigger and sicker than our neighbor's. She looked disturbing, her skin looked almost purple, her eyes screamed pain and horror, and her mouth was distorted to a biggest smile that's possible on a human face. I ran out, didn't even take my bike, just ran home. Mom called Grandma right away when I got home. She said that she was having a nap on their bedroom and she hadn't seen me today. At this point of my life, I started to realize that something is following me. Something that can possess people around me just to stare straight at me. It's like some kind of parasite. The being can't or doesn't want to use its host's voice and it seems like it just wants to watch me. After that day, I got bad anxiety and depression and I quit school when I was only 14. No one really believed me and I didn't get any help. I started drinking daily and lost my will to live. Now fast forward to present moment. I've isolated myself in fear of the mimic and I live alone. I thought that it couldn't get to me if I was alone. But I was wrong. Tonight, when I was about to go to sleep, I noticed a figure in my wardrobe. I turned on my phone's flashlight and pointed it to the wardrobe. After focusing my eyes for a couple of seconds, it started to form. Is that me?